Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? Linda Robert here, the Solution Lady, and helping you creating the most awesomest year ever. Guess what? It's week 15. Can you believe it? It's going by really fast. So I've got two tips for you today, and the first one is to calm your inner critique, and the second one is to be open to changing your beliefs. So let's talk a little bit about the first tip. Calm the inner critique. You know, we all hear voices in our head, and some are really nasty voices, and we'll call that your inner critique voice. That's the voice you hear in your head that will drive you crazy, especially when you've messed up or when you're doing something that's completely out of the norm. It will tell you, "What are you doing? Don't be so stupid. Are you crazy?" Often limiting beliefs will be expressed by the voice of the inner critique. And it says negative things to you that often support your limiting beliefs. That voice, if you pay attention to it, may be a voice from the past, like your father's or your mother's, telling you, "Don't do this," or "Don't do that," or "You're crazy if you think you could do this. You'll never accomplish to what you want to do. You're such a big dreamer." And I could go on and on and on. And if you pay attention to it, it will often stop you from doing things that you really want to do. The inner critique is the subconscious mind speaking from the seat of learned attitudes and behaviors that are usually in opposition to your conscious beliefs or desires. It is the voice that holds you back from accomplishing all that you're able to accomplish. You need to be first aware of that voice, and most of us are. Then you need to not believe what it is saying to you because it could actually ruin your life. So tip number one is to calm the inner critique, and meditation usually helps with that, as well as acknowledging the inner critique and replacing it with a more gentle, caring, and loving voice. I call mine my loving aunt voice. We all have that inner voice, and it usually whispers to us, which is why we don't always hear it. So tip number one, calm the inner critique. And tip number two, be open to changing your limiting beliefs. First, we need to be aware that we all have beliefs, and some beliefs are very good for us because they help us make wise decisions and sometimes help us keep us out of trouble. But some beliefs are limiting. Limiting beliefs act like brakes on your progress. You can take all the action steps you want, and in the right direction too. But anytime you make progress, the limiting belief pulls you back to conform to your inner negative programming. If you're serious about achieving your life goals, you cannot hide behind a belief system that was forged in childhood and which continues to hold you back in childhood. So the process for retraining our mind, our subconscious mind, is to pay attention. Start being aware of what is happening in your life. Are you able to achieve what you want, or do you find yourself stuck? Pay attention to the inner critique voice and what it's telling you. And once you recognize the voice, you can make a decision to not pay attention to it. Then you need to take action. And that could mean being clear about what you want and developing a new belief statements that will help you move forward. That process takes a minimum of 30 days and needs to be done every time so limiting beliefs show up. So every time a limiting belief comes up, you want to change that belief to a more positive belief, but you have to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it to retrain your mind. So awareness plus choice plus action equals a positive change. In time, the inner critique loses power and hides because it knows you're more than that. By the time it comes out again, you're already aware and making great choices, and the critique voice slowly starts to disappear until months later it creeps up again, and you just keep going and going and going. So tip number two is to be open to change your limiting beliefs and to replace them with positive thoughts. And so remember tip number 1, to calm your inner critique voice. And tip number 2, to be aware of what your beliefs are, to be open to changing your beliefs. This is Linda G. Robert, your relationship coach and your solution lady, helping you find the solutions to connect your life. And you can find out more information about me on my website at www.lindagrobert.com. As well, you could find me on Facebook and on YouTube. See you later. Have a good week. Bye-bye.